Hi friends, this is chapter 6 of class 7th, Human Environment Interactions, the Tropical and the Subtropical Region. Renuka was excited. Shrikant uncle was home after a gap of nearly 4 months. He was a wildlife photographer and traveled widely. He used to travel widely across. Renuka's interest in wildlife and forests began at an early age. When did her interest begin? Her interest began when she was of an young age of when she was very young, when her uncle introduced her to books on nature. It happened when her uncle introduced her to books on nature. When uncle gave her some books on nature, this is when her interest began in wildlife. Pictures of distant lands and people who lived there always fascinated her. She was fascinated by, she was kind of, you would say, she loved, you know, the pictures of distant lands and the people who lived there. And she was completely, she was loving this fact. In these pictures, Renuka, you can see people from different parts of the world. You can see people that are from different parts of the world. Some from dry deserts, some from frozen lands, and some from hot, wet rainforests. The people are from different parts. Some are from frozen lands, some from hot, wet rainforests. They look so different from me. These people look so different from me, observed Renuka. Renuka observed, saw that, you know, these people were looking different from her. They may look different, but they share the same basic needs. These people might look different, but they share the same basic needs of life: food, clothing, and shelter. What do these people, everyone, need? To survive, they need food. We need food, clothing, and shelter, explained Shrikant uncle. Their children do the same things as you probably do, as we generally do, like play games, quarrel sometimes, and then make up, sing, dance, and help families with various things that need to be done. Correct? We do all these things. They live closer to nature. These people live closer to nature. They are very close to nature, and very early in their lives have learned to care for nature. And very early, very soon in their lives, they have learned to care for the nature. Learn how to, they know how to care for the nature. They are very much concerned about the environment. They know how to care for the nature, the trees, the plants, the animals, the things that surround them, the rivers, the mountains, you know, the entire thing, the entire ecosystem. They are in love with the entire ecosystem. This is what he meant to say here. They learn how to catch fish, how to collect materials from the forests. Okay. Do you know when Spanish explorers discovered the Amazon River, they were attacked by a group of local tribes wearing headgears and grass skirts. These people reminded them of the fierce tribes of women warriors known in ancient Roman Empire as the Amazons, hence the name Amazon. Okay, so what did you learn here? Do you know when Spanish explorers discovered Amazon rivers? Who discovered Amazon River? Spanish explorers. They were attacked by a group of local tribes. A group of local tribes attacked them, who were wearing what? Headgears. These local tribes were wearing headgears. They were wearing something. Uh, they used to tie some big piece of cloth on their head, and this was or headgear. I'm not sure, like if they used to wear a piece of cloth, or it was an animal skull, or you know a bunch of feathers from some of the birds and grass skirts. But they used to wear some type of headgears. It could be anything. and grass skirts, skirts that were made of grass. These people reminded them of the fierce tribes of women warriors. These groups resembled something, a fierce tribe. The tribes, the group of men or a group of people that are fierce, that are fierce. Fierce means who are kind of, ready to take on, who fight very often, who are eager to fight, known as ancient, known in ancient Roman Empire as the Amazons. These people, these warriors, these fierce warriors in ancient empire were known as Amazons. Hence, this river was named Amazon. Correct? Life in the Amazon basin. Before learning about Amazon basin, let us look at the map. Now let us look at the map. Notice that the tropical region lies very close to the equator. The tropical region lies very close to the equator, between what, 10-degree north and 10-degree south. The tropical region lies close to equator. This is the tropical region and this lies very close to the equator, which is 10-degree north and 10-degree south. So it is referred to as equatorial region. This region, the Amazon basin, is referred to as, is known as equatorial region. The river Amazon flows through this region. Which river flows through this region? It is the Amazon River. Notice how it flows from the mountains to the west and reaches the Atlantic Ocean to the east. Notice how it flows from the mountains. It starts flowing from the mountains, you know, to the west. Mountains in the west. The mountains that are in the west, it starts flowing from the mountains that are in the west and reaches the Atlantic Ocean to the east. And these, the river, the water from the river reaches the Atlantic Ocean to the east. Okay, this is the east side and this is the west. It starts flowing from the west and it reaches where? To the east direction. The place where a river flows into another body of water is called a river's mouth. A place where a river flows into another body of water. A river, when it flows into another river, and that place is called the river's mouth. Correct? Numerous tributaries join the Amazon River to form the Amazon basin. There are numerous tributaries. Tributaries, small rivers are known as tributaries. Numerous, a number of tributaries. Tributaries means river. Join the Amazon River. These rivers, these tributaries join the Amazon River to form what? Amazon basin. This is the Amazon basin. The river the river basin drains portions of Brazil, parts of Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, and a small part of Venezuela. So, what all regions are covered in this Amazon basin? It covers Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. Name the countries of the basin through which the equator passes. You need to name the countries of the basin through which the equator passes. Now, the tributaries. This is the glossary. Try to learn this. These are what? These are small rivers. Tributaries are small rivers that join the main river. Tributaries are small rivers that join the main river. The main river, along with all its tributaries that drain into an area, forms a river basin or the catchment area. So the main river, along with its tributaries, when you combine the main river and its tributaries, and that drains into an area and forms a river basin that drains an area. This river basin, it drains this entire region, this entire area forms a river basin. This is the river basin. This entire, the highlighted area that you see in white, green, and blue is a river basin, or you can also call it the catchment area because of the tributaries and the main river. The Amazon basin is the largest river basin in the world. This river basin, the Amazon River Basin, is the largest river basin in the world. Okay, so let's move on to another page. Climate. As you know, the Amazon basin stretches directly on the equator and is characterized, as you know, जैसे आप जानते हो, as you know, the Amazon basin stretches directly on the equator. Amazon basin stretches directly on the equator. It stretches means it expands directly on the equator. It stretches on the equator and is characterized by hot and wet climate. And it is characterized by what? By hot and wet climate. This river basin is Amazon river basin is characterized by hot and wet climate because of the equator, and this remains hot and wet throughout the year. Both day and nights are almost equally hot and humid because of the equator. This the day and night are almost as humid and as hot throughout the year. The skin feels sticky. Skin, the skin, you can feel the skin being sticky when you are in this region because of the presence of humidity in the atmosphere. It rains almost every day. You could see it raining every day. That too without much warning, and it doesn't give you much warning. There is no thunderstorm or anything of that sort. It simply rains. The day temperatures are high with very high humidity. The temperature during the daytime are high, and the humidity as well. The humidity also, humidity, what is humidity? Humidity is the presence of water in the atmosphere. Correct? Presence of water vapor in the atmosphere is humidity. And the more humid the environment is, the more humid the climate is, it becomes much difficult for the humans to bear it, to tolerate it. The night the temperature goes down. At night the temperature goes down, but the humidity remains high. At night the temperature goes down because there is no sun, but still the humidity remains high. But still the humidity is high. Rainforest. As it rains heavily in this region, thick forests grow because there is heavy rain in this region. There are thick forests. The forests are in fact so thick that the dense roof created by leaves and branches does not allow the sunlight to reach the ground. The forest is so dense and so thick that it barely let any sunlight reach the ground. The ground remains completely dark and damp. How does the how is the ground there? The ground beneath this forest is completely dark and damp. It remains completely dark because the sunlight doesn't touch the ground. It remains because of the uh, cover formed by the leaves and the branches. The light barely touches the ground, and so it remains dark. And since there is no sunlight, it is also damp because it there is excessive rain in this region. The only shade tolerant vegetation may grow there. Only shade tolerant vegetation, plantation, small plants or any plants which can tolerate shade, which can that can grow in shade. Plants that can grow in shadows may survive there, may grow there. Orchids, bromeliads grow as plant parasites. Okay, these are plant parasites, orchids, and bromeliads. The rainforest plant parasites. Do you know what are plant parasites? Parasites are those plants or beings that thrive or survive on other plant or beings. Okay, to survive, they need other plant or other beings. Those are known as parasites. The rainforest is rich in fauna. Fauna is birds, you know, the lives, that are there in the forest. The rainforest is rich in fauna. Birds such as toucans. The birds such as toucans. This is a toucan. Hummingbirds. Hummingbirds that produces sound of humming bee kind of sound. Macaw with their brilliantly colored plumage. Macaw is a bird that is brilliantly colored. It has a bright color. Okay, oversized bills for eating. Eating make them different from birds we commonly see in India. And oversized bills. Bills is this beaks. Okay, bills for eating make them different from birds we commonly see in India. So the color of the birds, the bill, the size of the bills of these birds make them different, entirely different from the birds that we commonly see in India, generally see in India. These birds also make loud sounds. These birds are known for loud sounds. They make loud sounds in the forests. Animals like monkeys, sloth, and ant eating tapirs are found here. This is a tapir. Okay. Animals like monkeys, sloth is sort of a bear sort of appearance it has. Polar bear sort of appearance this sloth has. The ant eating tapirs, these are tapirs. These tapirs are known to be eating ants. Various species of reptiles, species means class, various types of reptiles and snakes. Reptiles, lizards are known as reptiles. Lizards, crocodiles, these are reptiles. Also thrive in this jungle. Thrive matlab, thrive means live, also live in these jungles. Crocodiles, snakes, pythons abound. Abound means are in plenty. Crocodiles, magarmach, snakes, pythons, ajgar abound. These are in huge number in this forest. Anaconda and boa constrictor. These two are the types of snakes. Anaconda is a very big snake, and boa constrictor also is a massive snake, is a huge snake. Are some of the species found in these forests. Beside the basin, besides apart from this, the basin is home to thousands of species of insects. Apart from this, not only this, but this basin is home to thousands. Home is place where these species reside, these species live, these types of insects or animals live or thrive. Several species of fishes, including the flesh eating piranha fish, is also found in the river. This piranha fish is what? It is flesh eating. These piranha fish are also found in the rivers in this Amazon basin, that are there in this Amazon basin. This basin is thus extraordinarily rich, extraordinarily, overly, too much rich in variety of life found there. So these basins are very rich in the variety of life, the kinds of life, the types of life, the types of animals, species, that are found there. People of the rainforest. Now we are going to talk about the people of the rainforest. People grow most of their food in small areas after clearing some trees in the forest. What do people do? They grow most of their food. They have to grow food if they have to survive, but in small areas, and that too after cleaning some trees in the forest. They clean the forest and then they grow their food. They do some cultivation, they do some farming. While men hunt and fish along the rivers, while men hunt and fish, they hunt animals and do fishing along the rivers. Women take care of the crops. Women are there who take care of the crops so that they don't get damaged, or it is properly watered, or whatever it could be. They mainly grow tapioca, pineapple, and sweet potato. So here it was like, do you know what? Bromeliads are special plants that store water in their leaves. What are bromeliads? Bromeliads store water in their leaves. These are plants that can store water in their leaves. Animals like frogs use these pockets of water for laying their eggs. There are frogs that use this pockets of water, the water that is there in this stored in this in the leaves of these plants to do what? To lay their eggs. Let's do what? Some TV channels broadcast documentaries on the wildlife of the world. There are certain channels where you could see documentaries, small movies on the wildlife of the world, on the wildlife, covering animals, showing animals that are there in the world. Try to watch some of the films and share your experiences with the class. You can watch some of these films and you can share your experiences. Correct? So as hunting and fishing are uncertain, it is the women who keep their families alive by feeding them the vegetables they grow. So what happens? It is as hunting and fishing are uncertain. These two activities are uncertain because you never know when you are going to catch a fish or hunt an animal. So it is the women who keep their families alive. It is the women actively who are actively taking care of their children by feeding them the vegetables they grow. They grow the vegetables to feed their children. They practice slash and burn agriculture. They practice slash and burn agriculture. I'm not sure what this slash, just a minute. So they practice what? Slash and burn agriculture. Slash means cutting down. They cut and burn the agriculture. Okay. The staple food is manioc. Manioc is their staple food, also known as cassava. That grows their staple food is manioc, which is also known as cassava, that grows under the ground like the potato. This cassava is grown like grows like a potato. Potato grows under the ground. So does cassava. They also eat queen ants and egg sacs. What do they eat? They eat queen ants. There are different, queen ants are those ants that lead a group of ants. They eat queen ants and egg sacs. Egg sacs or pouches where they, there are, where the eggs are hold, or certain types of eggs are uh, lying there. These are known as sacks. Sacks means bag. Sacks, bags. Okay. Cash crops like coffee, maize, and cocoa are also grown. Which are the cash crops that are grown there? Coffee, maize, and cocoa are also grown. The rainforests provide a lot of wood for the houses. These rainforests provide a lot of wood. They get a lot of wood for their houses. Some families live in thatched houses. Thatched houses made of grass or straw. These houses are known as, or mud. These houses are known as thatched houses. Okay, shaped like beehives. The houses are shaped like beehives. Beehives are places or hives where bee lives. These are other large apartment like houses called maloka. These are apartment like houses with a steeply slanting roof. They have houses with slanting roofs. The roof on the top of these houses are slanting. And these houses, apartment like houses, are called maloka. Life of the people of the Amazon basin is slowly changing. Their life is now changing, but slowly. In the older days, the heart of the forest could be reached only by navigating the river. In earlier days, in older days, earlier, the heart of the forest, if you had to reach to the heart of the forest, it could be only reached, you could only reach there by navigating the river. River was the only way to reach there. In 1970s, what happened? The Trans-Amazon Highway made all parts of the rainforest accessible. There was this Trans-Amazon Highway project which was completed in 1970, and it made all parts of the rainforest accessible. Using this Trans-Amazon Highway, the entire rainforest was accessible. Aircrafts and helicopters also used for reaching various places. Aircrafts and helicopters were used to reach different places in the Amazon basin. The indigenous population, the local population, people, was pushed out from the area and forced to settle in new areas where they continued to practice their distinctive way of farming. The local population was pushed out, were asked to, were thrown out from the area, were pushed out from the area, were removed from the area, and they were forced to settle in new areas. And they were made to settle in new areas where they continued, where these people continued to practice. They continued to practice what? Their distinctive way of farming, their distinguished way of farming, the different way of farming that they had. They, kept on practicing the same thing, even in a new place. The development activities are leading to the gradual destruction of the biologically diverse rainforest. The developmental activities that are carried in the Amazon basin is leading to a gradual destruction, slow, slow, one step at a time, one thing at a time, gradual, slow and steady. Okay, it is making a gradual progress, gradual destruction, wasting, wastage, or spoiling. It is leading to gradual destruction of what? Biologically diverse, this rainforest, which was biologically diverse. How was it biologically diverse? It was biologically diverse because of the different types of species and the plants, that plants, trees, faunas, you know that were there in these rainforests. It is estimated that a large area of the rainforest has been disappearing, actually, annually in the Amazon basin. Annually, a large portion of the rainforest is disappearing in this Amazon basin. How? The construction, with the development of new areas, or with the new developmental project that is being carried on in this Amazon basin, the original, the rainforest that was originally there is gradually disappearing, is disappearing, slowly. You can see that this destruction of forests has a much wider implication. The destruction of the forest, when you spoil the forest, when you destroy the forest, what will it cause? It will cause a wider implication. It will have a wider impact. What kind of impact will it have? The topsoil is washed away as the rains fall and the lush forest turns into a barren landscape. The topsoil, the soil which was there at the top, is washed away. It gets washed away with every rain. The rain washes away the topsoil, and the lush forest turns the forest which was lush. Lush means green. Now has turned into barren landscape. Barren which is not fertile. Barren means which is not fertile landscape, mass of land. Okay, the once lush green forest is now turned into a barren landscape. There is nothing growing now. Slash and burn. Do you know what is slash and burn? Slash and burn is a way of cultivating land where farmers clear a piece of land by slashing or cutting down trees and bushes. What do farmers do? Farmers cut down trees and bushes and they burn them to clear a piece of land, and this piece of land is used for agriculture. These are then burnt, which releases nutrients into the soil. These plants and trees and bushes are burnt that releases nutrients into the soil. Now crops are grown in this cleared field for a few years, and these fields are used to grow crops. After repeatedly, frequently, again and again, using the patch of the land, the soil loses its nutrients. After frequently using the soil again and again, the soil loses its nutrients. The nutrient from the soil degrades, is lost, so it is abandoned. Then this piece of land is abandoned. Then they clear another plot of land to plant. Then what do? They clear another plot of land to plant. Then they move on to another plot of land. In the meantime, young trees grow in the old field. During this time, what happens? This field is left as it is, and small and young trees grow in this field. In this way, soil fertility is restored. So, this is a way to preserve the soil fertility, the fertility of the soil. People can then return to it. People can then return to it. They come back to it and can start cultivating it again, and they can again restart cultivating it. Okay, this is how the gradual destruction of forest is depicted in this image. See, there it was initially it was covered with lush green forests. There was gradual movement of, you know, developmental work in this region was started, and here you could see the top soil being eroded from this basin. This is what is happening in the Amazon basin. Coming to the next page, life in the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. Now, from the Amazon basin, let's move into Ganga and the Brahmaputra basin. These two basins are in India. The tributaries of river Ganga and Brahmaputra together form Ganga Brahmaputra basin in the Indian subcontinent. In Indian subcontinent, these two rivers, Ganga and Brahmaputra, form a Ganga Brahmaputra basin. Subcontinent, what is subcontinent? Continent, there are continents, and a smaller part of a continent is subcontinent, wherein a group of countries, you sort of combine a group of countries and you can call them subcontinent. Take for example Indian subcontinent. There are certain countries which fall into this Indian subcontinent. For example, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan. These are part of Sri Lanka. These are part of Indian subcontinent. The basin lies in the subtropical region. This basin lies in the subtropical region that is situated between 10-degree north to 10 to 30-degree north. This subtropical region, this basin is situated between 10-degree north to 30-degree north latitudes. Correct? Hope you are aware of what these latitudes are. The tributaries of the river Ganga, like the Ghagra, the Son, the Chambal, the Gandak, the Kosi, and the tributaries of Brahmaputra drain it. What are the tributaries of the river Ganga? Ghagra, Son, Chambal, Gandak, Kosi. These are the tributaries of river Ganga. And the tributaries of Brahmaputra drain this. Look at the atlas and find names of some tributaries of the river Brahmaputra. This is an activity for you. You need to look at the atlas and find some of the tributaries, name of the tributaries that are of river Brahmaputra. Okay, the plains of Ganga and the Brahmaputra, the mountains and the foothills, the plains of Ganga, the plains, you know, the land that fall in this Ganga river basin, and the Brahmaputra, the mountains and the foothills, the mountains and the foothills, the foot of the hills, the base of the hills are known as foothills of the Himalayas, the foothills of the Himalayas, the base of the Himalayas, and the Sundarbans Delta are the main features of this basin. These are the Himalayas, the foothills of the Himalayas, the Sundarban Delta. Sundarbans are in Bengal, Bangladesh, West Bengal, generally Bangladesh. Delta are the main features of this basin. Oxbow lakes dot the plain area. Oxbow lakes, oxbow, you might have seen the hump of an ox. It is curved in this way. Okay, so this portion is known as oxbow lakes. Okay, lakes generally this kind of shapes, the lakes do have this kind of shapes, and so it is known as oxbow lakes. Dot the plain area. In plains you can see plenty of these oxbow lakes. The area is dominated by monsoon climate. The area is dominated. It is dominated by what? Monsoon climate. The monsoon climate dominates. Dominates means dominate. You could say like in English you would say, in Hindi. I don't know how to sound in Hindi. Dominate means to be more powerful, more important. Okay, the area is dominated by monsoon climate, so majorly it is the monsoon climate here. The monsoon brings rains from mid June to mid September. What are the times? From mid June to mid September is when there are monsoon. Okay, and it brings what? Rains. The summers are hot and winters are cool. The summers remain hot and winters remain cool. Look at the map of India. You could look down. There are maps of India. There is map of India. Find out the states in which Ganga Brahmaputra basin lies. You need to find out the states where Ganga and Brahmaputra basin lies. Covers the area, the states where this basin is found or is covered or is covers. The basin area has varied topography. The basin area has varied topography. Okay, the environment plays a dominant role in the distribution of the population. The environment plays a dominant role in the distribution of the population. The environment has a dominant role, major role in the distribution of the population. The distribution of the population, how the people live or how the people are kind of densely or scarcely located. The mountain areas with steep slopes have inhospitable terrain. The mountain areas, the areas where there are mountains with steep slopes that are too steep, have inhospitable terrain. Inhospitable, very difficult to live, very difficult to thrive, survive. Terrain means region, terrain, environment. Inhospitable terrain, environment. Therefore, less number of people live in the mountain areas of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. So there are very less number of people living in this region, in this basin. The plain area provides the most suitable land for human habitation. The plain area, the area which is plain, provides the most suitable land. It has the best land for human habitation. For living of the humans, that the plain area has the best environment. The soil is fertile. The soil is fertile in this region. Agriculture is the main occupation of the people where flat land is available to grow crops. Agriculture is the main occupation. The occupation, agriculture, cultivation is the main occupation of the people in this area because of the flat land, no, and they can easily grow crops here. The density of population of the plains is very high. The density of the population, the people living in this plains is very high. They are densely populated. Lot many people live in very little space. This is densely populated. The main crop is paddy. Paddy, rice. Rice is the main crop. Since cultivation of paddy requires sufficient water, the paddy rice needs a lot of water, plenty, sufficient water. It needs good quantity of water. It is grown in areas where the amount of rainfall is high. Wherever there is high rainfall, the rainfall is high, the paddy cultivation is there. The paddy is grown. The rice is grown. Wheat, maize, sorghum, gram, and millets are the other crops that are grown. Apart from paddy, wheat, maize, sorghum, gram, millets are other crops that are grown. Wheat, gehu, maize, makka, gram, different gram and millets. Millets are also type of grains that are grown in this area. Cash crops like sugarcane and jute are also grown. These are cash crops, sugarcane and jute. Why these are called cash crops? Because you don't store them for long. As soon as it is ready, you sell them and you get cash as soon as you sell them. Banana plantation are seen in small areas of the plain. Certain areas in this Ganga Brahmaputra region are also where you could see banana plantation. Banana is grown. In West Bengal and Assam, tea is grown in plantations. The plantations of West Bengal and Assam are famous for growing of tree. Silk is produced through the cultivation of silkworms in parts of Bihar and Assam. In Assam and Bihar, silk is produced through the cultivation. Silkworm is cultivated to produce silk in certain parts of Bihar and Assam. In the mountains and hills, where the slopes are gentle in mountains and hills, crops are grown on terraces. There are certain mountains and hills where the slopes are gentle. The slopes are not that steep, and there people grow crops on terraces. Terraces means the stairs, stair farming is known as terraces. The vegetation cover of the area varies according to the type of landforms. The vegetation cover varies according to the type of landforms. As the landform, so the vegetation. If the landform, different types of landform is where different types of crops are grown. For different landforms, different types of crops are grown. In Ganga and Brahmaputra plain, tropical deciduous trees grow. In Ganga and Brahmaputra plain, tropical deciduous trees grow, along with teak, sal, and peepal. These trees grow in the Ganga and Brahmaputra plain. Thick bamboo groves are common in the Brahmaputra plain. Thick bamboo groves which are thick are common in this Brahmaputra plain. Delta region is covered with the mangrove forest. The delta region is covered with the mangrove forest. In parts of Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, Coniferous trees like pine, deodar, and fir can be seen because the climate is cool and the slopes are steep. So, what happens in the parts of Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh? Coniferous, thorny. Coniferous means thorny trees, trees that seem like thorns, like for example pine, deodar, and fir can be seen because the climate is cool and slopes are steep. Since this climate is cool and the slopes are too steep, you could see these kind of coniferous trees in this region. There are a variety of wildlife in the basin. There are a different variety of wildlife animals living in this basin. Elephants, tigers, deers, and monkeys are common. So these animals are very common. The one-horned rhinoceros, one-horned, single-horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra plain. In Brahmaputra plain, single-horned one-horned rhinoceros are found in this Brahmaputra plain. In the delta region, Bengal tiger and crocodiles are found. In the delta region, Bengal, what is the delta region? Bengal is the delta region, and there Bengal tiger and crocodiles are found. Aquatic life abounds in the fresh river waters. Aquatic life, aquatic life in water abounds, are in plenty, are in huge quantity in the fresh river waters. In the fresh river water, there is there are lot of aquatic life, fish. Okay, the lakes and the Bay of Bengal. In the aquatic life abounds in the fresh river waters, the lakes, and the Bay of Bengal Sea. Correct. The most popular varieties of the fish are rohu, katla, and hilsa. These three are the major varieties of the fish. Fish and rice is the staple diet of the people living in the area. So what is the staple diet? Staple, that is day to day, every day, that is staple, regular. Fish and rice, these two are the regular diet of the people living in the area, that it is also known as staple diet. Correct. You can see one horned rhinoceros, one horned, and crocodiles. Here, see the crocodile here. Now let's see, do you know terraces are built on steep slopes to create flat surfaces on which crops are grown? See, this is the steep farming, terrace farming, okay, stair farming or terrace farming. The slope is removed so that water does not run off rapidly. The slope, they remove the slope, they make it like stairs so that the water doesn't run off rapidly. Do you know what in the Ganga, in the fresh waters of river Ganga and river Brahmaputra, a variety of dolphin locally called susu, also called blind dolphin, is found. This susu is a blind dolphin that is found in the river Ganga and river Brahmaputra. This is a type of dolphin, and this type of dolphin that is found in the river Ganga and Brahmaputra are known as susu. The presence of susu is an indication of the health of the river. The good the health of the river, the good presence of this blind dolphin susu in that region. The untreated industrial and urban wastes with high amount of chemicals are killing this species. So what is killing these species? When untreated industrial waste that is let out in the river untreated without any treatment, and the urban waste, the waste that is from the cities that contain high amount of chemicals, these wastes, this untreated urban waste or industrial waste that is let down in this, that is flowed down in these rivers, are killing these species, this species which is blind dolphin, also known as susu. Okay, the source of livelihood in this region. Binod is a fisherman. We are going to talk about a person named Binod. This is a case study on a particular case. Binod is a fisherman. He is a fisherman. Fisherman is one who survives by fishing. Vinod is a fisherman living in the Matwali Mau, Matwali Mau village of Bihar. He is a happy man today. He is happy. With the efforts of the fellow fishermen, Ravinder, Kishore, Rajiv, and others, he cleaned the Mau and the Oxbow lake to cultivate different varieties of fish. He cleaned the Oxbow lake, the lake that is the shape in the shape of an ox hump. Okay, it was cleaned by these people to cultivate different varieties of fish, to grow different varieties of fish. The local weed Valinaria hydrilla, the local weed which is known as, what is the biological name? The Valinaria hydrilla that grows in the lake is the food of the fish. The food of the fish is Valinaria hydrilla, which is a local food. The land around the lake is fertile. Land around the lake is fertile. He sows crops such as paddy, maize, and pulses in these fields. What does he sow in these fields? Paddy, rice, maize, you know, and pulses. Dals. Maize is bhutta, and makai or bhutta. Pulses is dal in these fields. The buffalo is used to plow the land. They use buffalo to plow the land. Plow, plow is when you tilt the land, that is plowing. Using farm equipment, you turn the land, that is the that is known as plowing. They plow the land using buffalo. The community is satisfied. The community living in this area is satisfied. There is enough fish catch from the river. They catch good quantity of fish from the river, enough fish to eat, and enough they have plenty of enough fish to eat. They eat good fish and enough fish to sell in the market. They eat good quantity of fish, and this also sell good amount of fish in the market. They have even begun supply to the neighboring town. They have begun supplying this fish to the neighboring town. They supply the fish to the neighboring town. The community is living in harmony with nature. The community lives in harmony. In harmony means peace. They live in peace with nature. They coexist with the nature. They don't try to go against the nature. As long as the pollutants from nearby towns do not find their way into lake waters, the fish cultivation will not face any threat. The fish cultivation that they have in these kind of lakes will not face any threat unless they see the pollutants. They get the pollutants from the nearby towns. Do you know? To accelerate efforts to achieve universal sanitation coverage and to put force on sanitation, the Prime Minister of India launched the Swachh Bharat mission on 2nd October 2014. On 2014, 2nd October 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched Swachh Bharat mission. The Ganga Brahmaputra plain has several big towns and cities. It has big towns and cities. The cities of Allahabad, Kanpur, Varanasi, Lucknow, Patna, and Kolkata are all with the population of more than 10 lakhs. Are located along the river Ganga. River Ganga has more than 10 lakh population. The cities that are near river Ganga has more than 10 lakh population. The wastewater from these towns and industries is discharged into the rivers. The wastewater from these towns, the wastewater that comes from these towns and industries located in these towns, and they make their way into these rivers. They are discharged into these rivers. This leads to the pollution of the rivers. Because of these polluted water, the rivers are also getting polluted. All the four ways of transport are well developed in the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. All the four ways of transport. Okay, the four ways. What are the four ways? Road, air, train, and river. Okay, are well developed in this Ganga Brahmaputra basin. In this entire basin of Ganga and Brahmaputra, you find good transportation system. In the plain areas, the roadways and railways transport the people from one place to another. In plains, roadways and railways transport people from one place to another. In waterways is an effective means of transport, particularly along the rivers. Along the rivers, waterways is used for transportation. Kolkata is an important port on River Hooghly. River Hooghly is an important port on river uh, River Hooghly. Kolkata is an important port. Kolkata is an important port on this river Hooghly. The plain area also has a large number of airports. The plains, there are large number of airports in Ganga Brahmaputra plains. Tourism is another important activity of the basin. Another activity of this basin is tourism. Taj Mahal on the banks of river Yamuna in Agra, Allahabad on the confluence of rivers Ganga and Yamuna, Buddhist stupas in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Lucknow with its Imambara, Assam with Kaziranga and Manas with wildlife sanctuaries, and Arunachal Pradesh with a distinct tribal culture are some of the places worth a visit. These are the places, you can read it again. These are some of the places that you need to pay a visit. You need to visit, are worth a visit. They are worth. Do you know, to conserve the river Ganga, Namami Ganga program has been initiated. A Namami Ganga program is initiated to do what? To conserve the river, to protect the river Ganga. So that's it. We have come to the end of this chapter. It was indeed a long one. I hope you revise this chapter a couple of times to get a good understanding of what is being covered in this chapter. Thank you for tuning into this channel. Stay up to date with the information that is presented to you on this channel. Thank you so much.